save me. If you get 1 naira for Nigeria, you get junior one, you say you no get papa, you no get mama, then make you come out. I beg go they do farm work. You better pass person wey enter road.
Don't accept to travel to Europe through the Sahara Desert. You may be walking into slavery. Don't be a slave.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
If you hear a bomb explosion or gunshots of an active shooter, that might be a terror attack. At such times, always remember 3 action words. Run, hide, report. Don't try to run towards the terror scene to save the situation, because there might be a second bomb blast or another attack. Run far away and take cover. Make sure you are safe first. Yes, it is in our nature to sympathize over the hurt, but remember, only trained personnel can help in such situations. When in a secured environment, promptly call relevant authorities and help will come. For anonymous reporting, call 09630-3250-5 or 0813-2222-106. If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Drive in the rain.
It depends on the velocity of the rain.
Issues in the sports sector remain one of the most debated among Nigerians due to the passion, followership, government involvement, impact on Nigeria's external image and our national life in the sports parliament. The NTA offers Nigerians deep views on issues with experts in the sports sector, offering in-depth analysis, hindsight, insight and foresight towards elevating Nigerian sports to the zenith on the floor of the sports parliament. Sports Parliament.
Hello again, this is NTA International News. I am Joseph Johnson. Thanks for joining us. First, the headlines. Collaboration with other countries to prosecute offenders reinforced as President Muhammadu Buhari signs into law a Mutual Assistance in Criminal Matters Act 2019. Refugees in Nigeria get assurance of continuous support to ease challenges presented with relief items by the federal government. An African Union Economic, Social and Cultural Council harps on meeting electoral promises to Nigerians. President Muhammadu Buhari has signed into law a Mutual Assistance in Criminal Matters Act 2019. The purpose of the act, as explained by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, Senator Ita Enang, is to ensure other countries which Nigeria has relationship with and which, as third party, will assist Nigeria in giving information and assistance in prosecution of criminal matters occurring in Nigeria or by Nigerians outside the territory of Nigeria. Senator Enang speaks more on this.
It is intended to ensure that where there are properties subject of crime or there are crime committed outside Nigeria or within Nigeria and the person leaves Nigeria, the provisions of the Act authorizes the Attorney General of the Federation, which is the designated authority in Nigeria, to pursue and use every means to prosecute the offense within and outside Nigeria. This Act also this Act does not apply to offenses which are termed to be offenses of a political nature, and it doesn't apply to offenses which relates to military, the military profession, or offenses which are not regarded as offenses in the laws of Nigeria, but which may be offense in the laws of other countries.
And now also comments on outstanding bills passed by the 8th National Assembly and yet to be assented to by the President.
Bills passed by the 8th Assembly up to the time they were still in session on the 6th of June 2019 will still be forwarded to and assented to by Mr. President as the clerk to the National Assembly transmits them. Only that bills which Mr. President withholds assents or bills which Mr. President considers that it is inappropriate to assent and takes a decision other than assent will not be communicated to the 9th Assembly, because it is not that assembly that passed it, having standing dissolved. It could only be made available through other diplomatic channels, but no more communication to the Assembly except those assented to.
Now, infrastructural development is a key component of knowledge and capacity building. This is why the present administration is poised to complete abandoned projects and develop new ones that meet international standard in its administrative institutes and institutions of higher learning. This was evident as a 250 block of hostel and other projects were inaugurated at the Public Service Institute of Nigeria, PSIN. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday reports.
Building capacity of public and civil servants is the main mandate of the institutes. Despite this great role, it lacks the needed infrastructure, as most of the initiated projects were abandoned. In order to make PSIN stand shoulder to shoulder with other world-class training institutes, government decided to complete the abandoned projects and even add more to the facilities, and this 250 blocks of hostel is one of the additional projects.
This structure is an evidence of what civil servants can do and are capable of doing when they are committed to the vision of Mr. President for transparency and accountability in public funding and expenditure. So this is a building that was appropriated for 100%.
After inspecting the Muhammadu Buhari and Yemi Oshibajo auditoriums, Mrs. Oyoita and the administrator Abdul Ganiu Obatoyibo also visited the PSIN clinic.
They are very nice. They've been taking good care of me.
The administrator told newsmen that plans have been put in place for maintenance.
Apart from developing the content, reviewing the curriculum, the courses, in tandem with the strategic plan, that we have done. Now government is supporting us to ensure that the infrastructure is also there.
Other projects inaugurated include Civil Servants Guest House and Information Communication Technology Center. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
Now, refugees in Nigeria have been assured of continuous support by the federal government to ease challenges they encounter. This was emphasized during their presentation of relief items to refugees in Abuja by the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, ECOWAS, and the United Nations High Commission for Refugee as part of the final lap to mark World Refugee Day. Ruth Agwele reports.
I miss the way I used to live, how I was before, how my life was stable.
You leave your country and come to a place where you don't know, you have to struggle to survive, all that, so it's not really easy.
One can only imagine the plight of these faces who have sought refuge in Nigeria, most of them from Cameroon, Chad, Democratic Republic of Congo and Sierra Leone. Some dropped out from school as a result of their present condition. For Constance Agenebit, who is a master's student of the Catholic University of Bamenda in Cameroon, she believes her dream of completing her program is still a reality.
Of course, if I have the opportunity, I'll go back to school because I was almost graduating and this crisis just came, so we ran.
This gesture is targeted at giving a sense of hope to these refugees. The National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, in collaboration with ECOWAS and the United Nations High Commission for Refugee, is bringing succor to them as a final lap to mark the World Refugee Day, with its theme, Taking a Step.
And we are here today to demonstrate to the refugees that we are working in solidarity to support them in their quest to be self-reliant here in Nigeria.
We have been very, very consistent in collaboration with other agencies. So as far as the issue of refugees is concerned, Nigeria is always ready at any given time to assist.
The refugees express gratitude to the donors for what they describe as immeasurable hospitality they have found in Nigeria. Key players attribute prevention and intervention as key components in conflict resolution within the African region to reduce the number of refugees in Africa. In Abuja, Ruth Aguela, NTA News.
Meeting infrastructural development in the agriculture sector and climate change for maximum benefit to Nigerians is one of the core targets that must be realized by the Nigerian government. The African Union Economic, Social and Cultural Council made the request at a crucial meeting with newsmen in Abuja. Again, Adebola Brookslyn Sunday has more.
Selling of parties' manifestos usually dominate political campaigns. These assist voters to make informed choices of who to lead them. Now that the choices have been made, reminding the executive and the legislature of the need to fulfill their campaign promises is the reason for the meeting. Nigeria's representative to AU ECOSOC, Dr. Tunji Ashaolu, presented the people's expectation from the government.
The robust plan to implement the AU Plan of Actions on poverty eradication and employment, involvement of the relatively younger and sharper brains should be given prominence. And again, more engagement between the National Assembly and the executive within the boundary of separations of power is also recommended.
Nigerian youth are vibrant. Nigerian youth are intelligent. You go outside and see them. The president should give priority to Nigerian youth.
And lastly, sustain the ongoing Empower and other social welfare program for the Nigerian youth.
AU ECOSOC is the advisory organ of the African Union. It serves as a vehicle for building a strong partnership between governments and all segments of the African civil society. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
A bit on religion now. Nigerian pilgrims for the Easter pilgrimage to the land of Israel have continued their visit to various holy sites where they could interact with some of the things which they have been reading in the Bible. A visit to some of the holy sites to the pilgrims is a worthwhile experience. Dele Atumbi reports.
Here is Capernaum, which is also known as the fisherman's town. It is a fishing village that is located on the northern shore of the Sea of Galilee with a population of 1,500. Apart from being the home of Apostles Peter, Andrew, James, and John, and Matthew, the tax collector, it houses at least 2 major holy sites, one of which is the synagogue where Jesus Christ preached, and the new church above Peter's house. The biblical account also shows that Jesus performed many miracles in Capernaum, including the healing of Roman centurion's servant and that of Simon Peter's mother-in-law. The pilgrim's visit to Tapha, meaning 7 springs, is equally revealing. Tapha, situated on the northwestern shore of Galilee, is traditionally accepted as the place of miracle of the multiplication of the loaves and 2 fishes used in feeding 5,000 people, as well as the Mansa Christi Church, where Jesus Christ, after his resurrection, gave Peter the primacy to feed the sheep.
Make our people to know that whatever problems we have now is going to fade away with time.
He has given us confidence, and today we are on that same sea to speak for the storms in our nation to calm down.
Spend time to pray and trusting that God will intervene in the stormy situations of our country so that things will become calm and will become prosperous as a country.
The pilgrims who are at the Jordan River to fill the cold water also climbed the Mount of Beatitudes, where Jesus delivered the sermon on the month. From Nazareth, where the angel proclaimed the birth of Jesus Christ to his mother, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Now let's get to some of the other stories from outside Nigeria with Ado Adamu also.
Thank you and warm welcome to this segment of the news. International humanitarian agencies are soliciting more assistance to tackle the crisis created by the increase in internally displaced persons in Nigeria and other West African countries. They stated this at the ongoing delocalized meeting of ECOWAS Parliament's Joint Committee on Agriculture, Environment, Water Resources and Sustainable Development in Lomé, Togo. Away from Africa, a summit of 28 European Union leaders failed to reach agreement on who should take on the bloc top jobs. The talks held in Brussels continued until early hours of Friday without candidates being finalized. On top of trying to find majorities of successors, leaders also decided what issues the EU should prioritize in the next 5 years. A new summit has been fixed for the 30th of June, 2 days before the key meeting of the European Parliament. And thousands of people gathered in Hong Kong Friday calling for the territory's leaders to resign and for government to scrap a controversial extradition bill. Responding to calls on social media, demonstrators arrived outside the Legislative Council complex at about 7 o'clock in the morning Thursday. People were urged to renew their protests after Thursday's afternoon deadline for government to respond to their demands passed without any official response. And finally, President Kim Jong-un has held North Korea's ties with China during a state visit by President Xi Jinping. Beijing is Pyongyang's closest ally, but relations has been strained by North Korea's nuclear program and China's support of UN sanctions. Mr. Xi's 2-day visit to Pyongyang ends on Friday, a week before his meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump at G20. And that is it from this end. Thank you for your time. I am Ado Adamwalso.
You're watching the news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja. We take a break now. We'll be back shortly.
Enjoy the best of African football as NTA, Africa's largest television network and hotspots, Nigeria's foremost sports production and marketing company, bring you all 52 matches of the Africa Cup of Nations, Egypt 2019 live from June 21 to July 19, 2019. Yes, all 52 games will hit your screens in crystal clear digital quality. It's your guarantee of a memorable viewing experience and a wonderful cost-effective opportunity for corporate Nigeria to reach tens of millions of Nigerians. For sponsorship and commercial support, contact Abubakar on 0803-331-0175 and Felix on 0803-308-2375. Hot Sports, masters of the game. NTA, you can't beat the reach.
Thanks for staying with us. Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria has advised Nigerians to take advantage of the National Housing Fund to own their own homes. The scheme provides for a maximum loan of about 15 million naira payable over a period of 30 years, which will enable beneficiaries build, buy or refurbish their own houses. Amaka will report that this was the message at a sensitization program at Alaba International Market, Lagos.
Bank of Nigeria has the mandate to manage and administer funds to enable Nigerians own their houses. The bank took its sensitization to Alaba International Market, where over 10,000 traders are expected to benefit from the National Housing Fund. Officials of the bank had an interactive session with the traders on processes of obtaining these loans.
So once you are earning up to 3,000 naira as income in a year, you are required to contribute to the National Housing Fund scheme. You contribute consecutively for a period of not less than 6 months. You are qualified, you are eligible to apply for the loan. Then we process your loan and it is approved. You can get up to a maximum of 15 million naira under this window.
We just want them to know that this particular National Housing Fund scheme, the scheme is meant for all Nigerians. And the idea is that we needed to address the constraints in the housing sector. So we want to make it easier for every Nigerian to own his or her own houses.
Leaders of the market describe the initiative as one that will avail their members the opportunity to own their houses.
When you own a house, it makes you responsible. One, people will know where you live. People will have an address, so it will make you to behave well. But when you are living where you cannot account for. So I mean, the profit is so much. It's not just about the monetary aspect, but it's going to reduce a lot of devices in the society.
If they give them loan, anything they give them that they're able to repair. Alaba International Market generate $4.6 billion annually.
Other products provided by the Federal Mortgage Bank include cooperative estate development loan, home renovation loan, rent-to-own product. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
It's time for business news, and here is Olainka Ojo.
Welcome to Business News. Global rating agency Moody's Investors is keeping its outlook on the Nigerian banking system stable to reflect its resilient capital buffers and stable deposit basis, with high risk likely to subside as the economy is expected to be strengthened. The agency stated this in its new report on African countries' financial institutions. The report states that Nigerian banks' asset risk and profitability will remain key rating challenges, but it expects these challenges to gradually decline in 2020 as the economy picks up. The Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service, Amid Ali, says importation of used vehicles through land border remains banned, urging stakeholders to embrace the connectivity platform. The Customs Boss said this during the inauguration of the connectivity platform established by the European Union at Semeboda to improve trade. He noted that Customs is not opening land border for importation of used vehicles, but it is interested in the success of the connectivity platform to facilitate border trade between Nigeria and Benin Republic. Before we go, let's take a quick check on how the equities market fared this Friday. And that's it on this segment of the news. I am Olainka Ojo.
Let's turn to security matters now. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukuru Buratai, has tasked commanders at various theatre of operations to redouble efforts in dealing with all threats to national security. The Chief of Army Staff gave the charge during the graduation of Junior Course 87 of the Armed Forces Command and Staff College. Jaji Kaduna Suleiman Abdullahi Rikachukun reports.
A total of 183 officers comprising 91 junior army officers, 42 naval officers, 28 Nigerian Air Force and 14 paramilitary officers and 8 international students attended the 23 weeks course of intense field training and academic activities designed to build their capacity in leadership roles, analytical and communication skills to effectively operate during single and multi-agency operations. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Tukuru Yusuf Buratai acknowledged the gallantry of fighting forces in the theaters of operations, urging the officers to put into good use skills they have learned during the training.
In the past 23 weeks, you must have come to accept the fact that
with perseverance and faith, everything is possible.
Awards of excellence and certificates of completion were presented to the officers. In Kaduna, I am Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachiku, NTA News.
And in sports, the 2019 AFCON kicks off in Egypt in a few hours with Nigeria's Afrobeat singer Femi Kuti as one of the artists to perform at the opening ceremony. Ochengbede reports on the expectations of football fans ahead of the opening ceremony.
The North African nation of Egypt is agog with activities, with just few hours to the commencement of the 32nd edition of the African Cup of Nations Friday. Preparations for the opening ceremony began Wednesday and witnessed some pharaonic reviews. Going by flyers, football fans across the globe are in for good entertainment as Nigerian's Femi Kuti has been billed to perform at the opening ceremony. According to the 2019 AFCON official Twitter handle, the Nigerian Afrobeat singer, who has 4 Grammy nominations to his name, will be performing the English version of the tournament's official song. Given that the continental showpiece also involves French-speaking and Arabic-speaking countries, Kuti will join by Ivorian singer Dobet and Egyptian singer Hakim, who will be performing the French and Arabic versions of the song.
Africa is a natural continent. Nature is very close to us and we are very close to nature. So I would like to see where Egypt is coming up with something very interesting, very African, very native, very natural. And we present that to the world. Say, this is who we are.
Looking at Femi Anikulapo Kuti, he's not someone that you see every day. He goes all the way to the Grammys and comes back to Africa to still perform at the All African Games. It is a good one for Nigeria, and we are proud of him. We are always proud of him whenever he's called upon to actually make us look good in front of the world.
As host, Egypt look forward to open the 2019 African Cup of Nations in style. Movement for fans have been made easy with the inauguration of 3 new metro stations in Cairo to facilitate the traffic of movements to the venue. The tournament, which takes place with 24 teams in 6 groups for the first time in its history, will see lots of dignitaries attending, including FIFA President Gianni Infantino.